Hi friends, it is good to be together for a message for all ages. Today, I'm coming to you from Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, one of our favorite places to be of all time. And that's the topic I want to talk to you about today, time. Right now, it sure feels like time is slippery. I can't distinguish one day from the next, right? We're not going to school Monday through Friday, so how do we tell what day it is? And then we're not going to church on the weekend, so what's the difference between a Saturday and Sunday? And then we had this holiday yesterday that kind of felt like just another day. We're inside, we're constricted, and when time doesn't have any markings, it just feels like this moment is lasting forever. And we can get kind of upset about it and frustrated and feel stuck. So what might help us mark this time, but know that it's not the only time in which we're going to exist, freeing us up a little bit in our bodies and in our spirits. So let's think together about time. Now, one thing that might help us get a handle on time right now is the scriptures. And there's a very famous passage that deals with time in the book of Ecclesiastes, or our wisdom literature. It's from the chapter 3, and I'm going to read you just a bit of it. It begins like this. There is a time for everything, a season for every purpose under heaven. And then the writer goes on to list a bunch of different seasons. A season to plant, a season to harvest, a season to hurt, and a season to heal, a season to tear down, and a season to build up. The list goes on all the way through a season for hostilities and a season for peace. Now this is very helpful because we can know that the season we're in right now has meaning for us. And also, it's not going to last forever, but it's really hard to get a handle on what season we're in exactly, isn't it? So maybe if we think about this moment from a different perspective, we can maybe see it the way God might see it. And we can get a sense for how right now it's present, but it will, like every other season, pass on and change into something else. So let's think together about what we can use as our teacher in that way. Now I'm sitting here in Van Cortlandt, and I don't know about you, but I hear a lot of birds, and they can be our teachers too. I've asked Anita, my friend, and our church fellow member, who is a birder, to give us some information about what creation has to say, what birds have to say about time. Anita, welcome to Message for All Ages. We're glad that you are here.
Oh, thank you, Lee. I'm so happy to be here, especially outside here on this beautiful day.
It's beautiful. And I have a question for you, okay? So we're thinking about time, and I'm wondering, what can we learn about time from the birds?
Because we're not the only ones who think about time. Birds think about time too. And they think about it in terms of how much sun are we getting today? Are we getting a little bit of sun? Are the days getting longer? If the days are getting longer, maybe it's springtime. And I need to get myself from down south way up north. So I'm going to start migrating. And right now here in New York, we're hearing a lot of birds that have looked around, realized what time it is of the year, and they've started flying from down south, and they're on their way up north to Canada. And guess where they love to stop and rest and eat some extra food? Van Cortlandt Park.
Me too.
So yeah.
So Anita, as we sit here, I'm thinking, well, in this moment, what birds would we in the Bronx hear and see if we're in our woods or even around our neighborhoods?
Well, we have a bunch of birds that, guess what? They don't care what time of year it is. They stay put. So these are our all-around birds. Right now we can hear a blue jay. He lives here all year round. He doesn't go anywhere. But sometimes, right now, we'll keep our ears, we'll listen for sometimes the Baltimore Oriole. The Baltimore Oriole is heading up to Canada. He's black and orange and so fancy looking. Then we can also, there's some tanagers that are also so pretty, bright red with black wings. They're heading north. and we have so many warblers, which are so tiny and fly so fast, it's hard to even get a good look at them. But sometimes if you're lucky, you might get to spot one and figure out which one he is.
So Anita, if I'm going to listen and look for these birds in my parks or in my neighborhood, what do I need to bring?
Well, every time, there's some blue jays making noise for us. I always bring my binoculars. And these help look at birds a little closer when they're far away. And you put the strap on first so that way you don't drop your binoculars. Then, these are called eye cups. You put your eyes on the eye cups and you close one eye if you can, so you're only looking through your right eye. Then you turn the knob until you can see really clear, and then you open both eyes and use this center knob to put your bird in focus.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Huh. So what you do with binoculars is you don't walk around like looking through binoculars. You take a walk and you listen with your ears. And usually first you'll hear a bird, then you turn and look for it with your eyes. And when you see a little movement in the trees, you lift up your binoculars, try and get it in focus and see if you can see that bird, even for a couple seconds before he flies away.
That is so cool. I had no idea. So if we have binoculars and we have our ears at the ready and we're walking and we have our eyesight and we're looking and perceiving everything, is there anything else that we need?
Sometimes I like to bring a notebook where I like to write down what I saw. Because sometimes you have no idea what you just saw. You can say, you look at a bird and there's a couple things you notice about them. You notice what color they are, you notice how big they are, you notice what kind of sound they're making. But there are about 200 birds in New York, different kinds of birds in New York. You don't know which one they might be every time.
Right.
So sometimes you'll write them down and you'll say, I saw a bird with a pointy head and a black mask and a red body, and he was making a pew, pew, pew call. So you'll write that down and you'll write where it was, in Van Cortlandt, on a branch, and the date. And then after you get home, or if you're on a break and you walk and you brought your bird book, then you go and look in your bird book and you try and see if you can find the bird that you saw. And if you do, like right here is a robin, which we saw on our way in, and you're like, oh, American robin. And then you can read all about it. So that's one of the ways you can identify the birds that you find in the woods.
Thanks, Anita. I think we should go look for some birds.
Let's do it.
You know, in thinking about the birds and their migration, it reminds me that the Christian calendar is helping us along the way also. Right now we're at Wednesday, middle of the week, in between two seasons for the church year. We're gonna close out Easter, and then this Sunday we're gonna begin Pentecost and the birth of the church. And we can think about that even as we're stuck and we feel very claustrophobic in this moment is not gonna last forever and always. And our Christian observance can help move us even when our bodies are staying safely in one place. Let's go to God and pray about that. Loving one, even when we get mixed up in what day and time it is, help us remember, you do not. You hold time eternal in your hands, and we ask that you would hold each of us tenderly. Be gentle with us as we struggle to distinguish what is happening in our moment and how that moment is different from the one right around the corner. Give us some grace, O God, and help us through this time. In your name we pray. Amen.
See you next week.